Hey guys, Kickassreaction here, and we are back to continue on with some more Mushoku Tensei. So yes, last time we had, lovely episode, some good genuine progress with Nanahoshi's plotline, and we introduced plastic to the world. Oh yes, indeed. But that was a great episode. You guys know how I felt about Nanahoshi, one of my most intrigued characters in the story, and it was a great one. It was absolutely great. But we've also got some now returning characters that we haven't seen in quite a while, actually. Norn, Aisha, and a bonus, Sir Ruijerd. Oh yes, another piece of his past. The other member of Dead End when that was still a thing. And of course, a connection to Eris, which I'm curious if it's gonna, trigger any negative connotations with Rudy. Hopefully not, because Ruijerd is innocent in all of that stuff, And, yeah, but we might get our, genuine interaction regarding Eris in this episode, which would be incredible, Finally, a new perspective, maybe, on what happened, because, given how much time Ruijerd spent with those two, I imagine that Rudy wouldn't really hold back anything when he speaks to him about what happened afterwards. He'd want to know, why are you guys not together anymore? I've been shipping that since, I met you guys, and what the fuck? Who is this elf loser? But, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Norn and Aisha, obviously. Fun to see. More interested in Aisha, obviously, because she had a lot more development than Norn did in the story. But Norn basically is a blank slate at this point, so I'm curious what exactly they're going to do with her. Yeah. I don't believe they actually know that Rudy got married yet. Because if I'm remembering right, the letter that he got from Paul was addressing a previous letter, as opposed to the one that he sent prior, because obviously the communications, it takes a while to get letters in this world, so I think he's sending Norn and Aisha here in response to a previous letter to Rudy, as opposed to the one he sent recently about getting married, so they don't know he's married yet, and that might honestly piss them off, especially like Aisha, who really seems to look up to Rudy now, for not being there for the wedding ceremony, but we'll see what's going to happen there, but obviously this is a permanent change now. Ruijerd is expendable, he can go whenever he wants, but Norn and Aisha are going to be here, presumably, for the entire rest of the season. And I'm really curious, what's going to actually come of that. Big Brother mode has got to be back on right now, combined with all the other characters we have in the show, so should be really good. I'm really excited to see what happens right now. So yeah, let's just waste no time and do this. Aisha, I said we need a maid for a house this big. Looks like we got one. I know it's bad to think like that, but Lilia has literally been raising the scale to be fucking Rudy's maid all this time. Let's see if that actually came to fruition. Jumping right into it. You missed all my art, all my character growth, man. You haven't changed at all. That's crazy.
これほど頼りになる男はいないな。
ルイジェルトさんはあれからどこにいたんですか
？2年ほど南部の密林地帯にいた。その後はイーストポートに向かい、そこでお前の父親と出会った。
Very nice.
娘をお前のところへ向かわせると言っていたから、ジンジャーと俺が護衛に申し出た。
ジンジャーさんもここへ？
ああ、王子のところに戻ると言っていたな。
そうだったんですね。
Cool.
お前の師匠にもあった。
ロキシー師匠にですか？
ああ。額の目を見せた途端、
No!
怖がられてしまった。
No! What the fuck? No! You can't do that off screen! How dare you? Like, dude, the whole thing about Roxy in season 1 was that she was petrified of the Spurds. And, it just set up because, Rudy was traveling with a Spurd, that they would interact and we'd see, Roxy and Ruijerd meet and interact for the first time. You can't do that off screen! That's bullshit! That was something I was like, really, really hyped for in the show. Maybe a little more than I should have been, but like, I was really excited for that. What the fuck? You can't do that off screen. What a cock tease. Dude, I need flashback, man. Like that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. This girl faints at seeing Spurs, for God's sake. Like, what the hell?
そういえばスペルト族が恐ろしいと教えてくれたのはロキシーだったか。
Yeah.
仕方あるまい。
それにしても随分と早かったですね。
お前の妹が張り切ってな。
どっちの？
アイシャの方だ。
Good point.
あの子の提案で対象キャラバンの護衛として乗せてもらって効率よく移動できた。
Seems like they're getting along.
だが久しぶりにこき使われた感じがしたな。
Oof.
それはなんというか。
Even Eris is nothing compared to Aisha.
笑い話だ。
ああ、本当に久しぶりだな。前はどんな話をしていたっけか。
ところで、エリスはどうした？
Yeah. That's the big
いろいろ
one.
とありまして。僕の元から
We fucked and she left right
そ
after.
うか。
That's it. One day together they
エリスは
spent
決してお前
when
が
you
嫌いに
left.
なったわけではないだろう。
でも釣り合いが取れないって言ってました。
真意はわからん。言葉通りなのか、それともお前が勘違いしているのかもしれん。
It's true.
勘違いですか。
Because
別の意味があったってことか。
much like you, he understands the person
何に
Eris
せよ俺は
is.
3年間苦し
So
ん
we
だ。
can make that connotation that she is fucking shit at communication.
今更考えてもしょうがない。
ルイジェルドさんはどれぐらいこちらに？
明日には立つ。
No.
随分と急
Come
です
on.
ね。
ああ、お前の邪魔をするつもりもない。
邪魔だなんてそんな。
I want you here, man. You're good.
ルーデウス。そんな顔をするな。また戻ってくる。それにエリスは決して言葉の上手い方ではなかった。
But when?
何か理由があるのかもしれん。
Yeah, honestly.
もし会う機会があったら落ち着いて話をしてみろ。俺もエリスと出会ったら奴の言い分も聞いておこう。
3 years of
お願い
impertinence.
します。
All for a misunderstanding. So we are bringing in the idea that, like, now Rudy's like, oh, yeah, the girl that I've been with for a long time and the shit at communication, I might have misjudged what she meant. Just maybe. You know? You idiot. But we'll see. I can only imagine Eris's reaction when she realized what Rudy mistook her words for. Being like, huh? What do you mean you got married? That's not at all what I meant. Fuck. Oh, that would be beautiful, honestly. Hell, he might have got married twice by that point. Hydra Sauce. Like father, like son, getting multiple ladies. One of which, again, still a little lost, but, you know, we're working on it, we're working on it. What the hell? Damn, was he really gonna leave before you even woke up? What up?
そういうことか。
Oh? You guys know each other?
ルイジェルドさん。バーディー陛下と何かあったんですか？
昔な。
Interesting.
二人ともラブラス戦役時代から生きているし、当時はいろいろと因縁もあったのだろう。
Did they fight
心配する
on
な。
the front lines?
奴と争うつもりはない。しかしまさかこんなところに奴がいるとはな。
僕
Interesting.
に会いにこの国まで来たらしいですよ。
ああ、奴はそういう男だったな。
You have quite the rep now.
では俺はそろそろ行く。
ルージェルトさん、朝食食べていってください。
Please. Come on, man. There we go. I don't want to lose Ruijerd yet, man. You can't. Come on. Like, not even one episode. Half an episode? How dare you? No.
では元気でな。
He really hasn't changed, though. Same clothes, same backpack, same
妹たち
boldness.
のことも本当にありがとうございました。
ルイジェルドさん、お世話になりました。
アイシャ、あまりルーデウスに無茶を言うんじゃないぞ。
はい、分かってます。ルイジェルドさん、
Aww.
安心しろ。また会える。
You better.
私も一緒に行きたいです。
Oh, wow.
これからは俺ではなくルーデウスを頼れ。
でもあいつはお父さんを、それに前に見た時と隣にいる女の人、
Damn.
やっぱり信じられない。
That's the problem. The woman he's with isn't the same one.
決してお前の兄が不誠
Do
実
you
と
know
いう
you have a half sibling standing right next to you?
そっちのもう一度名前を教えてくれ。
はい、シルフィエットです。
シルフィエット。ルーデウスと共に二人を頼む。
Damn.
はい、
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, like that's his woman
ま
now.
た会おう。
It's not right to say goodbye again. Not after just coming
さて
around.
少し遅れましたが、まずは長旅お疲れ様でした。
お兄様もご健勝なようで。
まあなんだ、こうやって一緒に暮らすのは初めてみたいなもんだし、仲良くやろう。
でもシルフィーネと結婚してるなんてびっくりだよ。
I know, right?
ノルネもそう思うよね。私、
Yeah, 'cause
シル
Norn
フ
would-
ィーさんのこと。
Would be more familiar with Sylphie than even Rudy.
そうだ、お父さんからお兄ちゃんに会ったら渡すように言われていたものがあったんだ。
Oh, I genuinely thought she was about to punch him. Jesus.
お父さんはなんて？
一通は以前届いたのと同じだな。もう一通には二人を学校に通わせなさいって。
Fair?
私も学校で習うことなんてないよ。
でもな、
お兄ちゃんのお世話がしたい。
Oh my
前に
god.
約束したじゃん。ほら、あの時のだっていつも思ってるんだよ。
Nice. She does good with her hair down.
じゃあせめて魔法大学の試験を受けてみてくれ。その結果で判断しよう。
ああ、はい、わかりました。
ノルンも一応試験を受けてみ
She
ようか。
could not look less interested.
なるんね。お兄ちゃんが話してるでしょ。でも私試験落ちるかもしれないし。
So?
それは心配しないでいい。あの学校はお金があれば誰でも入学できるから。
Nice.
そこまでして学校行きたくない。
俺の言い方が
Like,
悪
come
か
on,
った。
man.
別にお金で無理やり入学させてもらおうってわけじゃなくて。
ちょっとなるんね。
This is what Daddy wants, isn't it?
聞いてんのさ。だって聞いたでしょ。お金でなんとかしようなんて。なるんねが勉強できないのが悪いんでしょ。
Damn. So she's just
受ければいいんでしょ。
she's like the normal one of the family, not good at academics whatsoever. And these two are like geniuses.
ああ。
One a reincarnate, so cheats, but genuinely Aisha is really
お兄ちゃんも
smart.
そう思うよね。
アイシ
I
ャ、
don't know how old these two are either at this
ノ
point.
ルンに対して勉強できないとか見下すようなことを言うのはやめなさい。
だってなるんね頑張ってないんだもん。
お前から見ればそうかもしれないけど、ノルンはノルンなりに頑張ってるんだよ。
まあお兄ちゃんがそう言うなら 気をつける。
Like I said, I really do like this
アイシャは学校に
dynamic.
行かずうちのメイドになりたいらしい。どう思う？
家のことはちょっとおろそかになってるから、
What?
アイシャちゃんが手伝ってくれるって言うなら僕
Yeah,
と
but
して
she's
は
like
嬉しいかな。
neglecting school.
とはいえシルフィー、俺たちは責任ある大人だ。
うん。
アイシャを学校に通わせ可能性を示してやるのが仕事なのではないだろうか。
アイシャちゃんは多分ルディが考えてるより優秀な子だよ。きっと学校に行っても行かなくても彼女はうまくやると思うよ。
That's fair. Ironically, yeah, Sylphie has more experience with
あれこれ
Aisha than
考え
you.
ずやりたいことをやらせてあげるのがいいと思う。問題はノルンちゃんの方かな。パウロさんやルイジェルドさんと離れて不安そうにしてるみたいだし、僕らがちゃんと面倒を見てあげないとね。
It's kind of crazy that Ruijerd
な
was
ん
able
か
to
シルフィーが頼もしい
make a
な。
bond that strong
ま
with
るで
her.
フィッツ先輩のようだ。あ、いや、フィッツ先輩なのか。
No
なん
shit.
か僕偉そうなこと言っちゃったかな。
いや助かったよ。少し整理できた。女の子のことはよくわからないのでまたシルフィーに頼ることになりそうです。
困った時は助け合わないとね。
You spent a long time with them.
はい。まさか満点。
My god. Forget genius, like super genius. What the hell?
ってお兄ちゃん言ったもんね。
わかった。仕事の方はシルフィーと相談して決めてくれ。
まさかの家事手伝い。いや、妹メイドの誕生である。
You bought a house way
Norn
too
の
big
方は
for
という
just two
と
people.
今一つの成績だった。
Oh man.
もっとも年齢的平均をやや下回るぐらいで悪くはないらしい。
ノルンはどこの学科に入りたい？学科については俺も詳しくはないけど結構面白い授業があるから何かやりたいことを探すのはどうだろう。例えば
私寮で暮らしてみたい。
Damn. She does not like you at all.
寮暮らしか。
ダメだよ。お父さんはお兄ちゃんと一緒に暮らせって言ってたもん。
ダメだと突っぱねるのは簡単だ。だがノルンが勇気を出して言ってくれたことだし、
Yeah, she did it to be
仲の
away
悪い
from
アイシャ
you.
や嫌いな俺と毎日一緒にいる
Like,
よりは
Norn, I know you saw him beating your
少
dad
し
to
距離
death,
を
but
置
that
い
was
てみる
like
のもいいか。
3 years ago. You can't let that go.
じゃあノルンは寮で暮らすといい。
ノルン姉は点数良くなかったじゃん。なんでわがまま聞くの？私は頑張って満点取ったのにノルン姉だけずるい。
アイシャ、別にわがままを聞いたわけじゃないんだ。寮で友達ができるかもしれないしノルンにとってもその方が。
ノルン姉をひいきするのは私のお母
Damn!
さんだけだからですか？
Holy crap.
かけってそれ誰に言われたんだ？
お母さんとあとノルンのおばあちゃんです。
Damn.
私が半分お兄ちゃんと血がつながっていないから
No.
ノルンをひいきするんですか？
Oh, that's a shame.
俺は
course
ミ
not.
ーリャさんをめかけだなんて思ってないしお前とノルンは両方とも同じ妹だと思っている。
Even more so, because you actually
言
like
ってもわ
me.
からないかもしれないが二人のためを思って判断したつもりだ。
分かった。
And again, like, no reaction from Norn at all. That is insane, though. She was that insecure. She was worried. She might not even like her that much. Like, oh my god, oh my god.
ノルン、魔法大学に通う上で言っておかないといけないことがいくつかあります。寮には寮のルールがあるので従うこと、勉強を頑張ること、友達を大切
Are there
に
many
すること。
people in the school her
俺が
age?
守れないならこの家から通ってもらいます。
はい。
それと学校で困ったことがあったら俺かもしくはシルフィーに言いなさい。
It'll be Sylphie.
はい。
あと起きた時と寝る前にきちんと歯を磨くように、
はい。
Yeah.
お風呂にも
So
入るように、
robotic.
はい。
宿題もやるように、
Hi.
風邪をひかないように。
Well,
最
you
後
can't
に
really confirm that
最低で
one.
も10日に一度はこの家に顔を出しなさい。
なんでですか？
心配だから。
Damn, not even once a week, once every 10 days. Jesus Christ, how do you crack this girl, man? Because, like, she is just basically a robot at this point. She could not care less about you.
ノル、
次の授業楽しみだね。先生誰なんだろ
Oh, I guess there are people her age here.
ノルンが魔法大学に入ってから1ヶ月。彼女は友達の一人も作っていないようで心配だ。
最近ボスが元気ないにゃ。
そう見えますか。
見えるの。そんなボスにあちらがプレゼントを用意したにゃ。用意するのに1ヶ月もかかったの。
Oh?
何ですかこれ。
おっと、中を見るのは家に帰ってからにゃ。誰にも見つからないところでこっそり開けるの。
What
そう言
the
われると
fuck
不安
did you
です。
get?
ま、ありがとうございます。
いいってことにゃ。ボスの下
Can't
に
be
い
a
るの
piece
も
of
大
meat.
変なの。
I'd be too curious to wait that long, to be honest. I'd have to open it.
ネズミとかじゃないよな。
何をやっているんだ？
あ、いえ、このカバンを開けずに中身を当てようかと。
ちょっと生徒会室まで来てくれないか。
Wow.
わかりました。
Come on, man. I want to open my treat. Yes?
お疲れ様です。何か問題が起こりましたか？
実はここ最近女子寮の新入生の顔色が優れないのです。
ほう。
調査してみたところ、胸が小さく顔の造形のいい子ばかりが悩んでいるようでした。
もし
Okay.
かしてノルンも巻き込まれているのか。
俺にできることなら任せてください。
本日そのうちの一人に詳しく聞いてみたところ、リニアとプルセナに
Oh,
そ
God.
の場で下着を脱ぐように強要されたということです。
下着。
Oh, my fucking God.
さらに情報を収集してみると、あの二人はこれでボスが喜ぶ
Oh,
ま
good
で
lord.
していたそうです。
They know that
そ
he...
の際に
Oh, my
手に入
God.
れた下着を一つのカバンに入れていたということです。
Fucking hell. I was wondering why Sylphie looked horrified. Right.
ルーデウス様、失礼ですが、
このカバンはリニアとプルセナより今朝方いただいたものです。中身は見てませんが、そういうことなら中は例のものでしょう。
そうですか。一応確認ですが、あなたが命じてやらせていたことですか？
No, of course not. They actually like him,
ルーデウス様は
surprisingly.
無関係であると。
無論です。シルフィーと結婚したばかりでどうしてそんな不満が出ましょう。
Yeah, I'm sure they had neither like blue or red hair. Of course not.
わかりました。
Who in the fuck? Fucking God. Panties. Alright guys, sorry about that. But we are back now, so let's keep going.
ばかりでどうしてそんな不満が出ましょう。
Panties.
わかりました。信じましょう。
ありがとうございます。
よかったよ。てっきり僕が満足させてあげられてない
Wow.
と。
Wow.
いえ、私もおかしいと思っていました。シルフィーとあれだけ激しい夜を過ごしているというのに、他の女になど。
God, it's so weird hearing this, knowing damn well he's getting more girls soon.
そんなこと話してないよ。いえ、釜をかけてみただけです。新婚生活が順調なようで何より。さて、それでですが。
The panties.
はい。あの二人には 僕の方から注意しておきましょう。これはアリエル王女の手で被害者の元に返しておいてください。
Yep.
はい、確かに。
Panties. Many, many of them.
申し訳ありません。リニアとプルセナのせいで。
群れのボスも大変
It's
です
cool seeing them interact though at last.
はい。
How in a place this
Nora.
big do you run into her twice?
どうしたんだ？もうすぐ授業が始まるぞ。
はじめまして。この学校の生徒会長を務めておりますアリエルと申します。ノルンクレイラットです。
Nice.
はい、ノルンさん、どうしました？第三実習室かどこかわからなくて。そうですか。ルーク、案内してあげなさい。
Wow.
はい、こ
Cute.
っちだ。おいで。
She, like... Genuinely, how are you gonna get this girl on board, man? She wants nothing to do with you at all.
まったく、お前たちのせいで濡れ衣を着せられるところだった。
ごめんにゃ。悪気はなかったの。勘弁してほしい
Just thought you were a drooling
の。
pervert.
ダメだったのにゃ。
And it's true, but not in that way
ボスが
anymore.
絶対喜ぶからって。
I have, like, not in years been stopped twice in one episode. I apologize for that. Honestly, didn't know it was going to happen, but let's just keep going and ignore it.
まったく、お前たちのせいで濡れ衣を着せられるところだった。
Nice.
ごめんにゃ。悪気はなかったの。勘弁してほしいの。ほら、やっぱりダメだったのにゃ。リニアのせいなの。ボスが絶対喜ぶからって。にゃんだ1年。じろじろ見てんじゃねえよ。
Damn. Oh my god. And now rude to his sister on top of everything else.
ヌーニなの。どっちが上か分からせてやるの。
言っておきますが、あの子は僕の妹です。
Yes.
なあ、あれぐらい元気な方がいいわ。すごく可愛らしい。
That's right. Know your place.
俺の知らないところでちょっかいかけるなよ。
もちろんにゃ。悪いようにはしないの。
We'll be good. Yes, good girls.
家族だからとい
You
って
are his pets.
無条件
Just
で仲良く
making
でき
sure
る
you
わけじゃな
know
い。
who the food chain is at.
ゆっくり仲良くなればいい。
Norn and Aisha. Nice. Not sure, honestly. Not sure how we actually build an established connection with Norn at this point, because she's the problem child for sure. Like, I get it. Like, because she's not even making friends in school, right? And I get that, because obviously she comes from a place where the magic catalysm happened, and because of that, she didn't get the chance to interact with people growing up of her own age, beyond, like, Aisha. And even then, you know, it took considerable years past that point for them to even find Aisha again. And she was entirely in Paul's care. So I get why she's very antisocial to people of her own age, especially here, where this is a location that people didn't get teleported and whatnot. Oh, we actually have an OED. Oh, cool. Did not know that. No, wait, is this new? No, it's not new. I don't know. I don't think I even, like, processed, like, those snowball fights and whatnot before, so... I don't know. That just kind of threw me off there a little bit. Alright. But yeah, like I was saying, like, Norn's anti-socialism makes sense, given what she went through, you know? Like, she had to spend all of her time with Paul during, like, the, you know, the exploring and whatnot, and because of that, she didn't really gain many friends. She didn't stay in one place too long, and she kind of develops some anxiety around other people, basically becoming so dependent on Paul that that others around her didn't really click, especially given the instance where she literally first met her brother with any memory of him was obviously beating Paul to death, which is understandable given what happened to them. But the context of Norn is it's just, Rudy was, a stranger was beating her dad up, and because of that, like, she had to intervene, and she became kind of scared and uncomfortable around him. But it seems like in general she just feels more comfortable around like adults in general, given that she seemed to have also established a relationship with Ruijerd as well. Now, to be fair, Ruijerd as well is just naturally gifted with children. He obviously, he does everything he can to protect children. He has a lot of experience with kids, given how long he spent with Rudy and Eris in general. So it makes sense why he would be pretty easy to handle Norn. And I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, she met Ruijerd in that two-parter, because they didn't spend too much time around each other because it was mostly centered around Rudy and Paul reconnecting. But I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, Ruijerd did meet Norn in that time, I believe. So obviously it's somewhat of a familiar back then as well for her, but yeah, it is interesting. But it also makes sense to the kind of story we're going right now, because Norn is kind of the outcast of the family. Beyond what I just said about everything there, she is a bit of the outcast. She is not naturally gifted like Aisha is. And to be fair, Rudy isn't either, but he obviously has the cheats of being a reincarnate, and because of that, he was already, had the developed mind of an adult and the intellect of his previous life with him, from Earth. So everything about this world came a lot more naturally to him, given, his ability to connect things and understand common knowledge, as well as just being creative with his, experience in, like, video games and just kind of culture in general from Earth, gave him a lot of creativity in this world. Whereas Norn, she is not naturally gifted. She does not have, like, natural talent, in terms of, like, academics and whatnot. She doesn't really, work like that, especially with Aisha. Because I imagine that, as much as everything else happened, Aisha was teleported with Lilia, and no doubt Lilia continued schooling Norn to actually be a better maid for Rudy at some point. So she probably received decent academic stuff from Lilia as well, who comes off as pretty intelligent to me in general as well. So obviously it's hard to connect with people like that, especially when she just feels like the inferior potato of the family, because she has no talent in academics, she's not good with magic, she's not very much like Paul. She doesn't have, like, skill in the sword and whatnot, so she doesn't really connect in any way with her family members, and because of that, it seems like she is, unfortunately, kind of outcasting herself from a lot of the people around her, And I do imagine that a lot of what she has with Rudy comes from genuine fear as well, because he is a dangerous potato. He was literally beating up Paul at a young age as well, so on top of the fact that she doesn't like him for those reasons, he's pretty fucking dangerous, and is like the star of the family in general, so, an inferiority complex can come crashing down with that. On top of what, like, Aisha brutally says, like, they are around the same age, so obviously at that age, like, Aisha's not the kind of person to really censor herself in any way, as we've seen already. So I imagine that these comments, these jabs, might be more frequent than we know about, and because of that, it might have just completely destroyed Norn's self-esteem in some way, Because as we said, like, Aisha's the smarter one, and because of that, she might, Norn might feel inferior in a lot of ways like that. Even here, saying that, like, she barely even tried, she gets what she wants, like, those are constant jabs at her. So I'm curious if that is what really, is putting Norn down a lot. But we'll see, she is trying to distance herself from everyone, which is obviously very, very problematic, but hopefully, like I said, we do go past this at some point. Like, I don't know how. There needs to be a lot there, because, like, Rudy's got some work to do with Norn. But I'm really curious the kind of story we're telling with Norn at this point, especially since, these two just appeared. They're going to be a central focus in this core of Mushoku Tensei, and I'm really curious just what Rudy can actually do to get Norn to, be more be more, open with him, because it's not going to be easy. He doesn't have much experience with kids in the perspective of him being an adult now. Like it was a little easier back in the day because he was, to their knowledge, of the same age range as them, so he could connect with them a little bit more. They'd be a little more comfortable and open to him. But now that he's an adult, not quite, can't really pull off the same dynamic anymore. So I'm really curious what's going to happen with that. But either way, I'm excited to get into this, obviously. Aisha as well, like I said, I'm really excited to get into Aisha. We didn't see her at the school this time around, so I don't know if for sure she is attending the academy. I would imagine that, Rudy would be making her do that anyway to, again, broaden her horizons, give her more of an education and whatnot, but we didn't see her in the school this time, so maybe she's not, maybe she is staying as a maid, but hopefully we do get confirmation on that in the next episode. But obviously Aisha has her own baggage, apparently feeling like the inferior sibling to Norn because she is she doesn't share 100% blood. She's not the kid of Zenith, she is the kid of Paul and Lilia. And because of that, she actually had to worry that Rudy wouldn't love her as much, which obviously that's a big problem that's, I imagine, probably has been building up since they actually, since she started to respect him in season 1. And, well, it's obviously tragic. That felt like it was nipped in the butt already because Rudy reassured her that he loves both of them equally, Bro does not, he does not discriminate in that way. And it's good to know because obviously I imagine he's going to have a lot of kids down the line who don't all share 100% blood to Sylphie. That's another thing I guess about Norn is that she had a problem with Sylphie not being Eris, which is interesting. And also a little bit hypocritical because, Paul, had 2 women himself. Now, we don't know for sure what the relationship between Paul and Lilia was, if they were a thing, and that was just Paul had 2 wives, or he was just dating Lilia on top of Zenith. But I imagine maybe not, because Norn has a problem with that. And not quite sure there. But either way, though, hopefully we can get through this at some point. But like I said, I'm really excited to get on with Aisha and Norn. Their stories are great. Like I said, I feel like Aisha's worries and concerns have been mostly solved already because she didn't have many to begin with. But Norn is another factor altogether. And then there's Ruijerd, the man, the goat, the fucking G. I am insulted that he left so soon. That is actually genuinely unacceptable. What the fuck, guys? You teased this guy who was a central part of half of season 1, one of the closest people Rudy has had in the world in terms of relationships, and he's just gone like that. He kind of served his purpose, I get, making Rudy maybe reconsider what happened with Eris and whatnot. He wants those answers as well, and he's probably going to seek out Eris now for an answer himself. But bro, come on, stay, you are a part of Dead End, you are the guy! Oh, that's so sad. I'm really curious, though, if that is going to bring anything more of the Rudy Eris storyline, because, he never had anyone to really, give him a second opinion on Eris, because no one around him ever knew Eris. Sylphie didn't know her, none of his friends from prior to reaching the academy knew her. It really did take someone that understood Eris's emotional and obviously mental state to understand that she's not good at communicating, she's bad at it, and from that maybe she just worded a letter a little incorrectly, and maybe it was a misunderstanding on both parts. So I wonder if if Rudy did come to that realization that she really did mean that she wanted to settle down with him but just wasn't ready yet, is that going to spiral him in any way? Was his erectile dysfunction worthless in the end, because he wasn't rejected in the way that he thought he was? What's going to come of that? What's going to come when Eris comes back? Is he going to come? I don't know. But now that's interesting, because now we have a background story actively connecting to Eris, which is Ruijerd, who is going to seek out and look for Eris's answer and clarification to that message. And, if we see Ruijerd again before Eris comes back, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be great, and I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with that for sure. But yeah, like I said, great episode, really good introduction of the kids. We've understood what their dynamics are going to be now, what the issues are, and I'm really curious what's going to come with that. Also, panties. They know that he worships a pair of panties, but doesn't really understand the reasoning for those particular panties, you know? Those two beast girls are pretty sus, but we knew that to begin with, so can't really blame him for that. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna do my cut. I'm gonna come back to episode 17, so I'll see you in a moment. Alright, guys, we are back with episode... Crap, what is this? No, that was the wrong one. Sorry. Alright, guys, we are back with episode 17 of Mushoku Tensei. I'm ready.
Norn が引きこもった。
ボス、ちょっと待つにゃ。リニア、やめるの。
Yeah, no.
本気で怒ってるの。怖いの。
It takes a lot
その行為は俺にとって
to make him angry, especially when people get crammed in their rooms. Yep, that's a little too close to home. Much like Nanahoshi, he cannot let the cycle repeat.
同じ地獄を味わっているというのなら、俺はそこから救い出してやりたい。俺のことが嫌いで、アイシャのことが嫌いで、そして今の状況
Bro, even the teachers are terrified of him.
俺の妹だ。
But he will not let Norn go down that path.
失礼します。
兄貴というものは弟や妹を守らないといけないのだ。見捨ててはいけない。
Damn. Dude, I don't think we've ever seen such determination on his eyes before. Like, ever. That was insane. So what's the plan, bro?
ルーデウスさん、今は授業中で。
少々お時間を頂戴します。いいですね。
しかし、
Literally can't stop him at all.
この教室の女子生徒1名が不登校になりました。彼女は僕の妹です。まだ妹から事情は聞いていませんが、不登校になる理由というのはそれほど多くはありません。そしてそれを作った人がこの中にいると僕はそう思っています。
ドイツだ。ドイツがひどいことをした。
He will kill them
お前か
in their own blood.
お前かお前か。
できれば名乗り出てください。決して怒ったりはしません。ただ妹が傷ついたことを理解し、謝罪をしてほしいのです。
名乗り出た瞬間にバラバラにして当事者かそうでないかなんて関係ない。見て見ぬふりをしていたなら同罪だ。
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! But you'd be breaking a promise and that would ruin your credibility.
すみません。どうぞ。
この間、私ノルンちゃんとちょっと話してて、
ついひどいことを言ってしまったと。
違います。その私ルーデウスさんのことを知ってて、でもノルンちゃんは普通の子で、だからお兄さんとは違うねって言ったらすっごく怒って。
Interesting.
怒った。俺と違うと言われてノルンがどういうことだ。
She doesn't stand out. She's not exceptional or anything. She's just normal. And that's kind of the weird thing is that people, this school is really for like kind of geniuses. Jesus Christ! Calm down. That's the problem. I see it now. Always compared. Never seen as an individual. Always the star pupil of the school. She's already not comfortable with Rudy and she's hearing his name back and forth, left and right, always compared to him. Not even intentional, just something that grew over time. You can't even be mad at anyone but yourself.
さぞ嫌だっただろう。今まで散々アイシャと比較されてきたのに、今度は大嫌いなアニットだ。
くそ。
There's no one to beat up.
話は聞いたよ。ルディは悪くないよ。
シルフィー、ありがとう。
そうにゃ、ボスは悪くないにゃ。そうなの、気にする必要ないの。
2人もノルンのことを教えてくれてありがとう。さっきは付き合わせて悪かったな。なんか俺バカみたいだったろ。
Wow.
妹のために動くのはバカじゃないぞ。
Fair.
私にも妹がいるからボスの気持ちはわかるにゃ。でもちょっと意外だったの。見直したの。
He can be a good person, you know, when he wants to be. Oh my god, that's broken.
これからどうするんだ。放っとくのかにゃ。
どうもこうもないでしょう。俺のせいで引きこもったのですから。
引きこもった。そう、引きこもったのだ。
無理やりにでも授業を受けさせるの。そうにゃ。部屋から出てこないとアホになるの。そうにゃそうにゃ。リニアみたいなアホになるの。プルセナの言う通りにゃ。
There you go.
言葉のままな
It's
の。
pretty, you know, clear as day what that
部屋
meant.
から出てこないわけじゃないですよ。出てこないのは出てこないなりの理由があるからです。
Yep.
無理に外に連れ出しても何の解決にもなりません。けどかといってこのまま引きこもらせたままなんて絶対にダメだ。きっと確実に後悔する。
Again, all of this is way too close to home.
ルディ。
So what's the answer, Rudy? Time for a true
俺が
brother
俺がなんとかしない
sister
と。
moment.
俺が何をするって。
妹さんのこと私たちも協力させてほしいの。ボスにはいつもお世話になってるからにゃ。
What can you
あり
do?
がとうございます。でもどうしたら。
いい案があるにゃ。あちらに任せるにゃ。
No!
なになにどうしたの。
That's horrible
そこのア
idea.
リエル様が演説するんだって。
それ本当？でもなんで急に？ほら早く、もう始まっちゃうわ。
What on earth are you doing?
ルディ。
状況。
問題なし。みんな食堂に行ってる。
アリエルの演説で女子寮の生徒の気を引いてもらう。
I wonder what she's
そ
even
の間に
saying.
俺が侵入し、ノルンに会うという
Chatting
作戦だ。
complete shit.
アリエル様に感謝しないとな。リニアとプレセナは
準備できてるよ。ごめんね。力になれなくて。さっき僕もノルンちゃんの部屋に行ってみたんだけど、話を聞いてもらえなくて。
シルフィは何も悪くないさ。大丈夫。ノルンは俺が何とかしてみせる。
Somehow. That's the dream. Wow.
ご苦労様です。
ようこそにゃ。
What the hell?
もう気をつけてよね。
ごめんなさいなの。
Bro, he's like such a powerhouse. He can just walk in here and no one could do anything.
俺はお前に何かできるだろうか。
I don't feel like he has to sneak around.
着いたにゃ。
Like even the
そこの
teachers
突
are
き当たり
scared
の
of
妹
him.
さんの部屋にゃ。
It's crazy to think these two are technically bullies. But they really respect the power dynamic.
ノルン、いるか。俺だ。ルーデウスだ。ノルン。
来んな。
What the fuck? Who was that? Oh. For a second there I thought something far weirder was happening.
Norn.
俺が引きこもった時、兄貴が俺の部屋に来た。
And you refused everything.
兄貴は俺に向かい、あれこれと正論をぶつけた。 お前よりもっと辛い目に遭っている人もいる。今は辛いかもしれないが、逃げればずっと逃げ続けることになる。それはもっと辛い。
Yep.
しばらく学校に行かなくてもいいから、とりあえず俺と一緒に飯でも食いに行こう。そんな感じのこと。
The most stubborn person ever.
それに心の
And
中で
eventually
唾を吐いた。
that
何
faith
も言い
whittled
返すこと
down.
なく、徹底的に無視した。こんな奴に俺の気持ちはわからないと、そう決めつけて。
Damn. And now the tables have completely turned. So what can you do, Rudy?
これがあの時の兄貴の気持ちか。あの時以降、兄貴が俺に接触して
I
くる
like
こ
this
とは
though
なかった
because it's giving him a chance to kind of get some closure on his old life as well as his new one.
だけど多分ここで弾いたら俺も
He's
戻って
finally
こられ
gotten
な
the
いだろう。
message that his family tried to give him all those times.
立ち去ってはダメだ。
And now we can do right by it by doing it for Norn.
兄貴。
Huh.
いつからだろう。この人を恐ろしいと思うようになったのは初めて会った時。
Oh, a POV change. We haven't had that in a while.
それまでずっと私を守ってくれて
Certainly
いた
not
お
an
父さん
internal
を
monologue.
誰よりも私を大切にしてくれていたお父さんを。
Yep.
こんな人が家族だなんて認められるはずなかった。私はこの人を嫌いになった。
Very big misunderstanding there,
ついこ
honestly.
の間久しぶりに会った時は酔っ払って女の人と一緒にいた。今もきっとお父さんは必死にお父さ
I
ん
know.
を
I'm
探している
kind
は
of
ずな
on that page as well. It's a bit sus.
この人は
Just how long
とて
he's
も幸
left
せそうだった。
looking for Zenith,
と
you
に
know?
かく怒られないようにしなきゃ。ここに私を大切にしてくれる人はいないんだ。外に追い出されるのが怖い。ここはとても寒いから。
Huh.
私寮で暮らしてみたい。
寮暮らしか。
ダメだよ。お父さんはお兄ちゃんと一緒に暮らせって言ってたもん。
わかった。じゃあノルンは寮で暮らすといい。
Yep.
なんで怒らないの？わがまま言うなって怒鳴るんじ
He
ゃないの？
did everything he can to make you
この人
happy.
は私に興味がないのかもしれない。いや、
When you think past that moment, there's not really a moment you can hate him for.
そう考えるとなぜか少し悲しくなった。ノルン・グレイラットです。よろしくお願いします。
グレイラット？
I know.
もしかしてあの
There's a lot of
ひょっとして
reputation in this school when it comes to Grey Rat.
はい。
And so expectations are built when she's just an average of the mill schoolgirl. Everyone got disappointed.
すっげえ。妹ってことは魔術とかお兄さんに習ってるのか？
何それ？じゃああなたも魔術の天才なの？
Unfortunately not.
とっても強いし。
いいなあ、俺もあんな兄ちゃんが欲しいぜ。
ノルンです。
Damn.
ルーデウス先輩の妹さんですよね。
No one knows her for her.
はい、ノルン・グレイ。実は私たち前にルーデウスさんに魔術を教えてもらったことがあって、そのお礼を伝えて
That
ほしいんです。
this is bad. There's no sense of identity in Norn.
編入してすぐですからね。大丈夫です。きっとお兄さんのようになれますよ。
なりたくない。
So indirectly, he's made her life here hell. Just from being kind, just from having his own accomplishments.
わからない。
That pit keeps growing.
アリエル様とお兄さんの関係が気になるのかい？安心したまえ。君のお兄さんはああ見え。
知りたくない。
And she even saw that. That definitely doesn't help. Jesus Christ.
まったくお前たちのせいで濡れ衣を着せられるところだった。
ああ、ルーデウスさんだ。
俺話したことあるんだぜ。
いいな。どうしてみんなこんな人のことを。
Because he's done some stuff in his life. He's accomplished a lot. But this honestly is just... This makes too much sense, honestly. This is so understandable why Norn would be like this now. And that pit just grew and grew until you collapsed. Kind of felt like you were drowning in expectations never meant for you.
この人のことがわからない。
心配だから。
勘弁してやってくれよ。
私あの人嫌い。
Damn.
ルディもな、辛かったんだよ。
父によく言われた言葉だ。当時幼かった私には理解できなかった。けど今なら少しわかる気がする。もしかしたらあの人は私が思ってるような
He
人で
went
はないのか
through
も
a
しれな
lot.
い。
Same stuff you did.
じゃあ私はどうすればいいんだろう。
Lost.
あの人は私にどうしてほしいんだろう。
Unlike you, he had to fight to survive
どうや
though.
って仲直りしたんだろう。わからない。ここには助けてくれる人は誰もいない。わからない。
どうした？
And even Ruijerd.
お父さんのとこに帰りたい。
そんなにルーデウスが嫌か？お前の兄はお前が思っているような人間ではない。強く、賢く、そして尊敬すべき戦士だ。
You just haven't really
わからないよ。
given him a chance
お
yet.
前にもわかると。
You're isolating yourself too much.
次に会った時は逃げずに奴と向き合え。
Ah, and that didn't
お前たちは
happen.
家族なのだからきっと仲直りできる。
Come
それ
on.
にお前の父は逃げなかったぞ。
Is it finally time then? That you give this big old pervert a chance? Maybe open up just a little bit.
兄さん。
ごめんな。お前こっちに来てから辛いだろ。せっかく新しい環境なのに俺のせいでこんなことになって。
Yep.
なんて言えばいいか。俺さ、お前のことよくわかんなくてさ。こんなことになってもどうすればいいのかわからないんだ。
Oof. And he's just... that same expression.
Ore, いるから。いなくならないから。お前のことちゃんと見てるから。だから。
That's all she needed. All she wanted, really. Just to be appreciated for being Norn.
兄はきっと絶対に私を殴らない。
Of course not. Paul's the only one he hits.
もう絶対に殴らない。父は逃げなかった。兄も逃げなかった。なら私は。
Please. Aww. Come on, Norn. That was good, though. That was really good. Sometimes that just needed to happen. Just needed to let it out. Yes! There we go! Quicker than I would have expected. But... and she's even accepted Sylphie now.
ノルンちゃん。ノルンちゃん、なんだかあの夜から少し明るくなったみたい。
She got her pit out, let it all run.
あの後ノルンは何も話してはくれなかったし、何が不満で何がわだかまっていたか、その本心は分からずじまいだった。
But it's a start.
きっともう大丈夫だな。
おそらく自分で自分の気持ちに整理をつけたのだろう。
Something you never could.
彼女は生前の俺にできなかったことをやったのだ。
Yep.
俺もあの時ノルンのようにできていれば。
Then you wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have Sylphie. You wouldn't have Norn and Aisha. Every connection you've made in this world.
こじれてしまった家族との仲は。
And then a Hoshi probably wouldn't be any closer to getting home.
何もかもが闇の中だ。ただ長い間奥歯に挟まっていたものが取れたような気がした。
ルディももう大丈夫そうだね。さあ、僕たちも行こう。アリエル様に今回のお礼と報告をしないと。
ああ、リニアとプルセナにもな。
They were surprisingly helpful.
もし七星が元の世界に帰る時が来たら、
Ask her to send a message. Yep.
兄貴に一つ伝言を頼もう。あの時はごめんなさい。そしてありがとうと。
Aww. Again, that's like. Alright, guys, we are back. So that was episode 17 of Mushoku Tensei. Very good stuff. So I guess we're good now with Norn. Don't know what that means for screen time later on. You know, obviously, since Aisha, Norn, they're central characters with the main cast right now, which is pretty fun. And, you know, now that we have done the kind of plot of the issue between Rudy and Norn, I'm really curious just what that's going to mean for screen time overlap in the future. Obviously, you've got Aisha, who doesn't seem to be going to school at all. I don't know if, because obviously Norn was the focus, we just weren't meant to see Aisha here, or if she genuinely was just allowed to stay home as a maid. Like, you know, Rudy would still want to have an education, but and Paul did send money for it, so I'm not quite sure. But you know, maybe next time we'll focus more on that. But yeah, hey, this was good stuff. This was really good. I really like how, even though we're, you know, near 2 seasons done at this point, and we've gone through a lot of progression anyway for Rudy, his art almost never stops, because a lot of his art is being lived through other characters because of how much shit he went through in his previous life, and because of that, he's able to emotionally conquer and, you know, come to peace with a lot of the stuff that he went through by living it through others, right? Because despite how much he went through, despite how, you know, sorry, Roxy helped him walk through that door to be, you know, to live and to actually, you know, go outside again with confidence, despite how much, you know, he pulled himself out of the rug when Eris made him feel completely useless, you know. There is still a lot of baggage of the character that makes up Rudy from prior to his old life. We don't even have a name for it. I don't even know what to call him. We don't even have a name for who he was back then, you know. And from that, he's able to come to peace with some of the things that he went through other people. Now, of course, Rudy is the kind of character that doesn't want anyone to go through even a slight piece of his old life. But when it does happen, you can see just how serious he takes it and just how dedicated he is to stopping the problem, right? And I think a lot of this helps because we just had, like, Nanahoshi's own issues which relate to Rudy as well. As we said, Norn and Nanahoshi's issues were kind of the same here. Not internally, because Norn's were a lot more related to Rudy themselves, but the effect of them, of being a shut-in, of rejecting the outside world, and the fear of the outside world, you know, relates into the same problem with Nanahoshi. Whereas she, you know, feels literally rejected by the world. She has no desire to explore the world, to interact with it in almost any capacity beyond what she needs to, you know, and she just kind of rejects the idea of this life in general. It comes from the same kind of place what was happening with Norn here, where she was rejecting the outside world. She was becoming outright fearful of the outside world, you know, because of the insane pressure and expectations landed onto her. And so their stories do kind of overlap in that way in terms of similarities, which I do think is really cool. And as we just saw in, you know, 2 episodes ago, Rudy he's going to be here. He's going to help Nanahoshi. He has no idea how long it's going to take to get her home, but he's going to spend his entire, you know, reincarnated life bit by bit helping her get back. And the same thing with Norn. He is not going to let a family member who he barely even knows, to be honest, you know, he's not going to let her go through what he has gone through, you know. Literally at the start, I do like how Rudy does kind of spiral a bit. When situations similar to his happen, he almost always assumes that they are going through the same thing. They're going through almost his own story retold. Like, he literally assumed the teacher, what was it? He assumed the teacher, like, stripped her naked and hung her for bad grades. Like, his trauma goes that deep to where he almost assumes the situation resulted in the same situation that he went through, and that is insane. That definitely adds more to the first scene of him, being so pissed off because he felt like if they did to Norm what they did to me, I'm gonna blow this fucking school up. Like, this place gotta go, And I really do like that. I really do like that the end result. And I do think for Rudy as well, a lot of this came from, it's clear that Norn didn't like him at this point. It's clear that he was trying his best to, make peace with Norn. And I feel like he was very terrified. He was very scared of, as Rudy does like to do, as what even related, to go on that, what related to this kind of, to this exchange, and Norn's kind of, hatred of him was the fight that he had with Paul in the first season, how he kind of indirectly made his story seem a lot more adventurous than he wanted to, and that pissed off, Paul, which led to them fighting, which led to Norm, meeting Rudy for the first time, and, led to her hating him, having a preconceived notion of him. So I do like how here, I feel like Rudy was very scared that anything he tried to say to ease Norn's burdens might have been the catalyst for her. If he said anything wrong here, in terms of like hyping himself up and trying to give advice he doesn't know anything about himself, I think he was scared that might have been it for Norn, how he would have irreparably damaged the relationship between them. And because of that, he really didn't know what to say. Because like I said, Rudy does really like hyping himself up in terms of stories. He does, despite how, gorgeous he acts around a lot of people, when a story can come up about him, he does like hamming it up. And so, if he tried doing that here with Norn, I feel like he knew that would have been just, Norn as a relationship would have been gone. And so, Norn had to come to the conclusion on her own, And it is very fair to understand how Norn is, because in terms of like the Grey Rat family, this one's particularly, Rudy has cheats because he's from another world, he has memory of another world, and because of that, he comes off as a lot smarter than what a kid should be, because he's learned a lot in his old life, he's had that education, he just naturally has his own memory, which comes off as genius level to outsiders, and Aisha is just a natural born genius anyway, and Norn is just a girl. She is literally just a normal girl with average intelligence, with average, everything, and because of that, just being normal is kind of seen as being inferior in the Grey Rat family, and that is where a lot of insecurity comes from. On top of the fact that she, wanted to stay away from Rudy at all costs, this entire academy is basically rumored around and centered around Rudy now, because he is like the top dog. He is the guy that is probably, like, I think known as like the top magic student. He has a squad of fucking, like, insane gods on his side. Sylphie's got a reputation. She has connections to the princess, which by turn means, it's Rudy's connection. He has a demon god guy with 6 arms, which is just a beast, He's got Xanabar with insane strength, and obviously Cliff, who's got natural talent anyway. His squad is like the biggest squad in the academy, and because of that, a lot of the rumors in this school all relate to Rudy, and because of that, Norn, unfortunately, her inferiority complex grew a lot more, and because of that, it not only shunned herself, but it also hindered her reputation and her conceived notion of Rudy anyway, to where it just blew up even more. And it definitely is hard, to think like that, to think where even if she didn't hate Rudy, the idea of constantly being compared to someone whose efforts have nothing to do with your own definitely would suck, definitely would suck. On top of the fact that, before even coming here, Aisha was belittling Norn, Aisha was belittling Norn for not being as smart as she was, which in turn came from her own insecurities about feeling like she is, she's the half-sister, so she isn't worthy of love as much as Norn is, which came from her own baggage, but also, doesn't in any way excuse the damage that she's done to Norn, in general. And like I said, this felt like it, from all of that combined, it feels like the only way this could have been resolved was through Norn to come to the conclusion herself, to not have any outside influence. You know, Rudy, he was all determined to face Norn, and in the end, he knew that he just didn't know what to say to her. He didn't know what to say, how to help, because he is in this situation, and in his own life, he had no experience overcoming it, because he didn't overcome it in his old life, you know, and that's where a lot of his own baggage that he, you know, doesn't think about much nowadays, but still, you know, when the situation comes up, they still hit him really hard, you know, and this was one case where he knew that despite all his efforts, he couldn't help him, and, you know, it all came down to Norn. And I do like that Norn in the end, you know, through constant, you know, recollections, through constant, you know, from just thinking to herself for a little bit, you know, coming to the conclusion that a lot of what happened was in her head. You know, it all built from a lot of, you know, unfortunate circumstances. You know, Norn is, unfortunately, she's lived a troubled life because of the magic catalysm. She hasn't socialized with people of her own age. She doesn't have experience interacting with children and socializing in her age range. You know, she's been with Paul the entire time, who works with adults. And because of that, no one's really seen her as an equal for a very long time. And Aisha, again, belittles Norn. She is not a good sister to Norn at all, and hopefully that also comes up again in the future, and they work towards something with that, because, like, that's another problem here. And so on top of the issue with Rudy, you know, she is, you know, she's very introverted because of that, right? And on top of all that, her first ever interaction with Rudy was him fucking beating her loving daddy, you know, the only family she's really familiar with, and that in turn hurt a lot, you know? And I do like how in the end, she did come to the conclusion that, you know, she has to let go of this. She can't live her life avoiding Rudy, when literally everyone around her is saying that, you know, that situation was circumstantial at best. Like, he's had it really hard himself. He's affected by the magic catalysm. Paul, her father, forgave him because it was, you know, emotions just boiled over at the time, you know. All of it, and of course Ruijerd, who she seems to really like now, a lot of it came to the surface, and she realized that this needs to go. This just needs to stop. She can't spend her life hating someone who she doesn't even know. You know, the reason she hates him, you know, is to protect someone that she loved, and he in turn forgave Rudy. So what reason does she have to keep thinking like this anymore? And in the end, she forgave him, which is really nice. Obviously, it's the first step. It's not like the issues are resolved now, because she's still going to be hearing about Rudy all throughout school. She's still going to have Aisha belittling her for, you know, a little bit, hopefully not forever. But it is a step to start overcoming those obstacles in life, and it is a step to start making her own story up that we obviously won't see. But it is the beginning of her own journey in life, and, you know, the first step of literally living like a normal girl, like she was always meant to, if not for this catalysm. And it's good to see that, you know. So, as we know, Mushoku Tensei does a lot of time skips, a lot of them, a lot of time skips, and I'm curious, you know, if we get to a point in Season 3 where, 2, 3, maybe even 5 years down the line, we'll see the kind of person that Norn's become when she's about Rudy's age by now, and hopefully the relationship is a lot closer, and hopefully she'll be able to, you know, contribute to Rudy's life in a much more meaningful way. You know, whether that be on the battlefield as just a loving, you know, aunt to his kids, you know, all 50 of them, you know, when they do come around. Hopefully we'll see that, you know, because Norn is probably the most mysterious character that's relevant in the show that we've had so far. And, you know, now that we're in this path with her, I'm really curious where we're going to go with it. So yeah, guys, that was episode 17 and 16 and 17. The twin arc, in a way. You know, the kids are here now, the siblings are here now, and curious what's going to happen now that they are not only part of Rudy's life, but they're actually integrated in the school itself. And so yeah, should be good stuff. So guys, thanks for watching this, and I shall see you next time.